Thank you. Thank you.
Questions?
Oh, that brings back emotions. Every time I read from it, it's like I'm reading for the first time.
Go ahead.
I have a question about doing a talk show. I've done some stuff in Philadelphia, WPHT, and stuff like that, but my stuff is more like I'm more interested in like politics and news and stuff. And I was wondering what your outlook is for a young black professional. I'm waiting for my law license right now.
Congratulations. All right.
To possibly get into that kind of stuff, like a Juan Williams type of thing, or I was just wondering what your thoughts might be on that.
I don't know too much about the television side of things.
More the radio, like talk radio is my thing.
Talk radio.
Yeah.
Suggestions. I worked for talk radio. I used to work some time ago for WMCA, which was talk radio. Now it's inspirational. But anyone who has aspirations to get into that field, the best thing is if you know this market or whatever market you want to be in, always go there and contact the program director. Speak to them about, what is the procedure for starting out shows, do you accept demos for shows, things like that, and how you would approach them. That way, if you have something you can put together, you can present it to them. And always think about the type of show you have in the audience.
Right, the demographic.
If it's going to fit that radio station, that's your approach. You got to think about who you want to reach. If it doesn't fit their audience, their core audience, they're like, well, we don't really need something like this. And then
it seems to me like they want somebody like a Herman Cain or like someone that's done stuff big already. And the thing that made me interested about Ms. Jones is that besides the videos that I saw when I was younger, that it seems like she was able to grow into it, and I don't see that happening as much anymore.
You know why? I think it was a different time then.
Yeah.
People, I'm not saying that you're like this, but people aren't willing to do the grunt work and just take the weekend positions, the early shifts. And I tell people it's so much easier working from the inside out, even if you're just the receptionist, because you make contacts, you're there when those postings go up, when they're looking for an opportunity. And when you meet the people that are in those places that you're working alongside, they become your references. You know what I mean? And they can personally vouch for you. Nothing's better, I think, than a personal endorsement. You can have all the paper in the world, all the degrees. A personal endorsement goes a lot further.
give us a just brief reference how you broke into
Radio?
the radio thing. So it gives us
I was promoting my album, which never came out, that album, on Ed and Dre. No, that first album never came out. Singles came out. And then my second album on Motown came out, which you probably shouldn't have, and the program director heard me and asked me if I wanted to do radio. And of course I told him, I'm about to be a big star, I don't need radio. And then I said, but if you'll work around my weekend schedule, you never know. Because I'm thinking back then, if I work radio, maybe they'll show my records more love. And so I did the weekends for about 5 years, every Sunday morning, 7 a.m., going from Astoria, Queens, through the Midtown Tunnel, downtown to Manhattan. And finally, one day, the program director, rain, sleet, I worked through Christmases, Thanksgivings, and all the holidays for the big jocks, Angie and Flex. One morning, there was an opening in mornings, and someone inside had recommended my name to the program director, and she called me and asked me if I was interested, and it was so ironic that it was the day that I was moving out of my apartment because I could no longer afford that rent, because the Motown deal felt it just didn't work. And so those monthly checks stopped coming. And she offered me that, and I tried to play a position. But I was so grateful that I did the morning position, and I played sidekick for about 3 years. And then I got with Star and Buck Wild, which was a blessing and a nightmare, but whatever. And did that for, I think, 2 years. He and I didn't get along, and I went to Philly and became the first black woman to host and not be a sidekick. WPHI. And I was so successful there that when Star came back into New York to compete against Hot 97, Hot 97 called me to compete against him for them. So I'm like, wouldn't fate have it that way? So I came back. It's been a lot. Like, I've had to move, and I've really not been able to have a huge personal life. I've managed to fit it in around the business, but I think it's finally paid off in that starting next week, I'll be syndicated. I'll be a syndicated morning show. Yay! Which I hadn't made that announcement yet, so you guys are the first to hear that. And so I'll be back in Philly in WPHI. So perhaps I might be able to help you out. We'll exchange cards. I'm serious. Yeah.
She'll be smacking around all the so-called morning shows, which is great.
I want to say, I was literally just thinking the other day, I'm like, why haven't they syndicated her yet?
Oh,
like,
wow.
Literally like 3 days ago. I think it was probably like last Friday I was listening to you.
Yeah, we've been working on this for a while because I wanted it to be the right deal. I've been in radio for 15 years, and it needs to be the right deal. Every deal isn't the right one, but it seems like it'll be okay. And going back to the station I left, it's a little familiar, and they already know me, and so.
Are you taking, like, is Michael Sean going with you?
Absolutely. You know, Michael Sean worked with me at that Philly station.
Yeah.
And the boss fired me, Michael Sean, and Jay Black. And now that we're going back, because their bosses apologized to me and said they realized it was a mistake, now that boss cannot say anything to me. He's the program director, but he's not my boss. Like, now he's working for me. You see how things work?
I love it.
And that's in my contract, that he can't. Colby Cole.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I hate him. Who calls himself a Colby Cole or a Lisa or?
Now that you have, now that you.
Oh.
Live.
Don't freeze up now.
radio like that.
You have this great life. You know, you're a married woman now.
Yay, my husband's here.
Thank
you.
You're a great mom. You're going to syndication. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
5 to 10. I haven't even. Well, I just got a television show picked up by VH1 too. That'll be out in the spring. And I never dreamt that big.
Oh, you kidding?
I don't know. I want to sing again. I will never admit that.
But we hear it on the radio.
Yeah, but I want to enjoy it this time. I don't want to be doing it because I need to sell records, and so I didn't even think that far. I know I want to expand my family, and I want some stability. I'm tired of having to move back and forth. Career-wise, I never really thought that far ahead. We'll see. Oh, I'm going to law school.
What?
I woke up one morning and said, I think I'll make a good litigator. He's like, why? Because you like to argue? Precisely.
Why get paid for it?